Good evening, students. In this video, we're going to cover lesson 1-3. This is locating points using ratios. The standard for this lesson is GR 3.3. I can partition a line segment given a ratio. Partition, just another word for cutting something into sections. All right, we're going to skip down first to the vocabulary and then come up to this formula. All right, so our blank here, so it's Lord, I forgot myself for just a minute. All right, so a partition refers to dividing a segment or line into smaller non-overlapping parts. So non-overlapping means, like we were talking about before, if we broke a pencil, we would put it back together. That's non-overlapping. An example of overlapping, I'm just going to go up here. So if we had a line here, we had a line here, you see how these two overlap. That's what it's saying. But I can tell you guys, excuse me, and pardon the poor handwriting. I can tell you guys we're not going to deal with any overlapping parts in geometry. We're going to have lines, line segments, and then we're going to go into shapes and stuff like that. So anyway, let's go up here. So let's move back up here to the key concept. So section formula on a number line. Excuse me. So when we're dealing with the number line, so we have this line here goes from C to point D. In the middle they have point P, and we have M colon N. So this is your ratio. So if this was 3 to 2, M is always going to be to the left of the colon and N is to the right. When you're looking at just the number line, your point to the far left is going to be your x of 1, and your point to the far right is going to be your x of 2. And this is the formula we're dealing with. So you're going to take N times your x of 1 plus M times your x of 2 divided by M plus N. All right, I know that's a lot of letters, and some of you guys you don't like the letters. It's okay. Bear with me. We're going to plug these in. I'm going to show you where to plug them in here at the end, or here in the next couple of minutes. The next key concept, we have the section formula on the coordinate plane. So notice on the number line, we have one number. On the coordinate plane, we have two because we have an x and a y. Now, in our example here, we have line AC, and then our point B is what they're wanting based on an unknown. So we're going to call M, comma, N ratio. So this formula looks very similar to this. The only difference is we have two of these, and then the second one, you're dealing with y's because you have an x coordinate and a y coordinate. So it's always going to be N first. So N first, N first, N first. M second, M second, M second, and then M plus N, M plus N, M plus N. You get it. So when we have the coordinate plane, we have an x and a y. So we have N times x of 1 plus M times x of 2 divided by Mn. Then for y, N times y sub 1 plus M times y sub 2. So just, like I said, bear with me. I'm going to go over, out of respect to the other geometry teachers, so I'm going to go over what the curriculum says we do, that the teacher shows you on the ones that say check here. Those are ones that you guys will do on your own. I will set it up, but I won't solve it, again, out of respect for the other teachers. On the back side in class today, I left those to as extra practice, so I'll show you when we get there. So example 1, find B on AC such that the ratio from AB to BC is 3 to 4. All right, so here's our A, here's our C. B is going to be somewhere in between at a ratio of 3 to 4. So, as I said, your M is to the left, your N is to the right. And then So your far left point is your x of 1. Your far right is your x of 2. So in this case, A is negative 5. C is 7. That's your x1. That's your x2. So let's go ahead and write our formula. So n times x of 1 plus m times x of 2, oops, divided by m plus n. So all we're doing, sorry, my writing is terrible. This is why I'm a math teacher. And, sad to tell you folks, but later on when I start drawing, yes, I'm a geometry teacher. No, I don't draw well. So, you do what you can. All right, so for this one, n to the right, so that's 4, times x of 1, so this is negative 5, plus, oops, sorry, got an extra part of a parenthesis there, plus the m is 3, times x of 2 is 7, over m plus n, so 3 plus 4. All right, so before I do the math, sorry about the camera. All right, so before I do the math, come on, get back into focus, please, please, please. So before I do the math, was asked to me about the parentheses. I usually put one in and one out, just like I did here. It doesn't matter. What you need to know is that we're multiplying these two, then we're adding, or we're multiplying on here and here, and then we're adding the two numbers. So as long as you know multiplication, addition, multiplication, over division, and then addition here. That's what you guys need to know. All right, so let's do the math. So positive 4 times negative 5 is negative 20, plus positive 3 times positive 7 is 21. And I always say write the formula, then look at the numbers. That way we're not looking at a negative number and writing minus instead of plus, comma, or parenthesis negative 3 or whatever. So always look here as you're writing. All right, so now 3 plus 4 is 7. Glad you said that. Thank you. All right, so we're going to go down here. So a negative 20 and a positive 21 is, you guessed it, sorry, positive 1. 7 stays the same. This doesn't reduce, so our point B is going to be like 1/7. So it's like right here, give or take. But either way, 1/7. Let me just, you guys, and again, apologize. A 7's going to have the line through it, and a Z is going to have the line through it. That's to help prevent you guys from confusing my Z's and my 2's. Yeah, again, sorry for the handwriting. All right, so down here, example 1, check. I'm just going to point out a couple of things. So the formula is the same. I'm not going to write it. So you're going to plug in here. Your M is here. Your N is here. I'm telling you, but I'm not going to write it down. So for you folks that are just pausing and trying to take the notes, this is why we listen. All right, notice A is between negative 16 and negative 14. So that makes this negative 15. And then over here, this is between 0 and 2. So this is 1. Just little mistakes I've seen or I've made personally. All right, so I'm going to skip down. Example 3, excuse me. All right, so notice we're on the coordinate plane. So we have an X, we have a Y. So in this case, our left, what I recommend, X1, Y1. X2, whoops, X2, Y2. And in reality, it doesn't matter. If you have as long as it's one's here, two's here, or one's here, two's here, as long as you keep them together, it's okay. But I personally, I like to go left to right, and here's my ones, here's my twos, my N and my M are just what they are. Oh, sorry. Getting, my goodness. I'm going to go see the IT guy as soon as I can. I apologize. I'm so sorry. Okay, there. Goodness. So in this case, we have 2 points. We have an X. Again, both start with M. X1, M. Sorry, that's a terrible M. X2 divided by M plus N, comma. This is our Y. Start with N. Y sub 1, M. Y sub 2, M plus N. I'm trying to not move. All right, so the formula looks similar to up there. We just have the Y's over here. So we have our X1, Y1, X2, Y2, M and N. So let's plug these in. I'm gonna use the red pen. All right, so N, we'll go down here. N is 2. X sub 1, negative 5. Plus, so I'm doing plus before I even look. M, 1 times X sub 2, 6. Again, I'm trying not to rock the boat, folks. I apologize. M plus N is 1 plus 2, comma. Let's do the Y side. Come on now. All right, so N is 2. Our Y sub 1 over here to my right is negative 2. The formula is plus. Now I'm looking at M straight above my pen as 1, comma. Then your, Y sub 2 over here to my right is 2. Below me, M plus N is 1 plus 2. All right, let me move over here. I'm gonna, let's do this way. We're gonna go do more math here and then try to have our answer here. How about that? All right, so 2 times negative 5 is negative 10 plus 1 times 6 is 6 divided by 1 plus 2 is 3. Moving over, 2 times negative 2, negative 4 plus 1 times 2, 2 divided by 3. All right, so we're moving over here. All right, so negative 10 plus positive 6 makes a negative 4. And 3 stays the same. Up on top, negative 2 and negative 4, and a positive 2 make a negative 2. And the 3 stays the same. These can't reduce, so our point's going to be negative 4/3 and negative 2/3. So going from 0, negative 4/3 is a little over 1, so it's 1 1/3. Notice these are 2, 4, 6, so 1 is in the middle. 1 1/3 is going to be about right here, and then negative 2/3 is going to put you. Let's see if I have to use one of Mrs. Whitlock's colors. So we're going to be like not the 0, not that O showing the origin, but like right above it maybe. Hopefully that's not great, but hopefully you guys get it. Okay. Flipping over. All right, so what we're gonna do here, we're gonna look at this, and then these two are gonna be your practice. We didn't do these in class. Again, every teacher's different, so I'm not gonna do these two in the video. I am gonna come to the bottom where the summary is. So let's skip up here. We're on the flip side of lesson 1-3. I'm sorry. So example 3, check. And this says 1-3 practice problem number 10. So it says find G on AB such that the ratio of AG to GB is 3:2. All right. So Again, let me go over here. And I'm going to still want to mess with Locke's pencils a second. So we got all this stuff. All right. Let's just focus on what we're talking about. We're talking about A, B. So we're talking about this to this. The rest doesn't matter. Pretend it's not even there, okay? Hopefully that helps a little bit, because I know me, I get a little antsy. So now we need to plot point A, and we need to plot point B. That's going to be our x1, y1. That's going to be our x2, y2. And then up here, I'm going to go ahead and mark. This is your M, M, comma, N. All right, so A is -1, -2, -3, positive 1, 2, 3, 4. And I told you guys wrong in first period 5. I said -3, 4. But A, so that's your x sub 1 is -3. And your y sub 1 is +5. Goodness. Sorry, my paper stuck. So A is -3, 5. I just put the x1, y1 there. All right, B is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we're not up or down. We're on the x-axis, so this is 5, 0. So your x2 is 5, and your y2 is 0. And again, your M and M. M and N. Pardon me. So over here, N, x sub 1 plus M, x sub 2 divided by M plus N, comma, N y sub 1 plus M y sub 2 over M plus N. So I'm just going to plug all these guys in. So I start with N. N is 2. X1 is -3 plus M is 3. X2 is 5. M and N are 3 plus 2. Let's do them in the different colors since we're kind of getting over here. So N again is 2. The y sub 1 is 5 plus M is 3. Your y sub 2 is 0 over here. Remember, anything times 0 is 0. Again, 3 plus 2 on the bottom. So, all right. Sorry, we're running out of room. So I'm going to go over here, do this part of the math, and then if there's any, breaking it down. So 3 times -2. Apologize for all the craziness going on with the camera. I promise we're going to find the IT guy and we're going to get this right. Okay. All right, so 2 times -3, -6. 3 plus 2 is 5. Over. Plus 3 times 5 is 15. I was like, wait a minute, our numbers are way crazy. Okay. 2 times 5 is 10. Anything times 0 is 0 over 5. All right, so -6, positive 15. Let me just switch. Make a positive 9 over 5. And then our other number is 10 plus 0, which is 10 over 5. You can reduce that. 5 goes into 5 one time, into 10 two times, so our second number is 2. All right, so our x is 9/5, which is a little over 2. So 1, 2, wait a minute, yeah, 1, 2, and then a little further, and then 1, 2. So like 1, 2, wait a minute, hold on, 1, 2, and then a little further, and then 1, 2. It's like right here. Very difficult to see. but hopefully you guys get that. All right, example 4 and the check. I'll let you guys work those. Going down here to the summary very quickly. And again, the practice, I know we're all kind of handling things a little differently when it comes to the practice. So we're just, for the video, for the purposes of the video, we're just doing the summary. So compare and contrast partitioning points on a number line versus the coordinate plane. All right, so coordinate plane, you have coordinates. So you have 2 coordinates. So you have an X. So you have the X and the Y. A number line, you just have 1 number. Sorry, I meant to plan this better. So it's 1 number versus 2 coordinates. And then as far as partitioning points on the coordinate plane, how can it be used in real world problems? And I'm not going to write this. You guys are welcome to think of other things. In class, we talked about, let's say we had a city block downtown, and they approved a Publix, and they told the engineer, okay, we need the parking lot to be at a 4:1 ratio. So our engineer goes out there and he will plot the point that puts the ratio there, and he can tell the supervisor, hey, here, this is your parking lot, here's where your Publix is. You probably should have made the ratio a little bigger, but hey, whatever. Y'all aren't paying me to make decisions. Anyway, you don't have to write all that. Just think of real world problems. In the bottom, survey, if you understand very well, let me know. Somewhat unsure, mark there. And if you're confused and need help, let me know. Tutoring every Tuesday, and we can also work some stuff out online. Or, I'll see what I can do. I'll help you guys anyway. Anybody that wants to learn, I'm here to teach. So it's getting late. Thanks for watching. Have a great night. See you in class.